over, but it's just the beginning of the victory celebrations for Auburn, while the Crimson Tide is stinging with defeat. Good evening. Thanks for watching News Channel 19 at 6. I'm Greg Privet. We begin with the biggest story in the state tonight. Iron Bowl 2006 has Auburn fans partying right now. Meanwhile, Alabama fans are holding their heads up, already looking ahead to next year. We have live team coverage of today's Iron Bowl, headed up by our own John Pearson and Tom Woodard. Let's go straight to John live in Tuscaloosa, who's right in the middle of all the action. John?
Well, it started out just a little bit different than last year. When Alabama got its first down in the first quarter, they were ahead of the game already, but Alabama was unable to hold on to that momentum, and then Auburn took over. Alabama made a nice run to come back into it, and then, well, we'll show you the highlights to show you how it turned out as we go ahead and take a look at just how this one side here as the flyover comes there at the start of this game. Another inspirational side. Tyrone Prothro in full gear for Alabama, bringing out the game ball. Alabama, though, does not back down from the start. John Parker Wilson pulls it down, big-time gain, 27 yards. And fear the thumb, well, they're saying fear a little something else. Then John Parker Wilson hands off, this time to DJ Hall, 21-yard pickup right there in the end around. But that red zone trouble, Tim Castillo runs into the entire Auburn defense. Alabama has to settle for the field goal in a 3-0 lead. But Auburn responds with their defense. Quentin Groves is just a monster going after John Parker Wilson. Kevin Sears recovers it there at the 27-yard line. And Auburn takes that short field and takes it right into the end zone. Brad Lester, great move right here. Wow, is he going to be something next year when he takes over the starting job. 7-3, Auburn takes the lead. This is not a replay. First of all, it's at the other end, but it is Quentin Groves forcing another fumble, and Auburn recovers again, this time inside the 10. First play, Kenny Irons. It's the Irons Bowl right there. 14-3, Auburn takes the lead. And it looks like a little more coming up here for Auburn. Brandon Cox to Rod Smith, 30-yard pickup right there. And Auburn, who had been at the 1-yard line, looks like they might be able to get a score, but John Bond's 53-yard field goal falls a little bit short, giving Alabama good field position and a good idea they can score. Nikita Stover had a huge game in this one, over the middle, the first down there. Then on 3rd and 10, Auburn comes with the blitz. That was a mistake. John Parker Wilson to Nikita Stover, 52-yard touchdown, and Alabama is back in it. Auburn up 14-9 at the half, so they have all the momentum coming into that second half of play as Mike Shula looks for that very first win. Coming into this one, Bear Bryant had 19 wins all time versus Auburn. All the other Alabama coaches had 19 wins combined, so Mike Shula trying to change all of that. But the second half, things get going, and very, very interesting as things wear on as Alabama tries to fight in it. And here we go, first drive. John Parker Wilson to Will Oakley, 35-yard pickup down the sideline, and Alabama comes through in scoring position. And Travis McCall just gets in there. Alabama takes the 15-14 lead after they miss the two-point conversion. But Auburn responds a couple drives later. Brandon Cox to Carl Stewart, big yards down the sideline. That wheel route worked twice. And then Cox up top to Preche Rodriguez. Great adjustment there for the touchdown. And Auburn retakes the lead. They go for the two-point conversion with a little bit of trickery. Here is the play one more time. Great effort by Preche Rodriguez. So then, after the two-point conversion, that makes it 22-15 Auburn. But then a little bit of trading off of things. Kenny Irons fumbles it away on the great play by Chris Harris. And Alabama looks to respond, but the pass over the middle to Keith Brown. He's stripped away right here. It just got out of there before he hit the ground. So the two teams trade possessions there. Alabama, though, gets it back. And John Parker Wilson looking to respond. Up top to Hartzell's very own Nikita Stover. He did get his foot in bounds. So Alabama looking to score here on 4th and 15. Can't quite make it happen. Auburn gets the big time stop right there. They can't run out the clock. So Alabama with another chance at it, and it is the Irons Bowl. David Irons joining Kenny Irons with a big play in that one. That's an interception, and that's an Alabama winner. 22-15, 5 wins in a row for the Auburn Tigers. They've never lost in Tuscaloosa in this one. We'll have complete reaction to this one from the field with Tom Woodard and Carson Clark coming up in just a little bit. Now, Barry Hyatt got to be in the mix on this one as well. Marital bliss is threatened throughout this game when one's an Alabama fan, one's an Auburn fan. Maybe he's doing a little bit of marital therapy here, Barry.
Never know, John. That is exactly right. I can tell you that, as you probably know, more than 90,000 fans watched this year's Iron Bowl at Tuscaloosa's Bryant-Denny Stadium. But at the bench warmer here in Huntsville, well, there was a pretty good crowd there, too. Now, among the crowd, New Hope's Beth and Marvin Carlisle. Now, the two have been married for the last 2 years. She is an Auburn fan, and he pulls for the Crimson Tide. Now, we talked to them at halftime of the game when Auburn was ahead. They had different takes on which team they thought would wind up winning the ball game.
We're talking one. It's not going to be no thumb. It's one.
Now, in case you're wondering, they did have a bet on the game. The loser has to cook dinner for a week. So, Marvin, hate to tell you this, buddy, but you're going to have to get ready and head to that kitchen. Reporting live from our Huntsville newsroom, Barry Hyatt, News Channel 19.
Coming up, we'll take a look at the top news stories of the day. Plus, we're heading back to Tuscaloosa for more post-game reaction to Iron Bowl.
Yeah, people in orange are awfully happy right now as they leave Tuscaloosa again. They've never lost in Tuscaloosa in the Iron Bowl. 22-15 is your final score. Auburn, after getting a scare, second half, Alabama took the lead, but then Auburn responded. Huge defensive day at times for the Auburn Tiger players, including Russellville's own Kevin Sears, whose senior year has not been a dream, but Tom Woodard caught up with him on the field with his reaction to a huge day for him and his team.
Kevin, how big is this win?
Man, it's big. We down in history. 5 in a row on Bama with Robin. Hey, ain't nobody ever did it. We winning the senior class in Auburn history. Hey, that's great. That's a great privilege.
It's a big cap for your year. I know it's been a difficult one for you, but hey, you guys got it done.
Yes, sir. We got it done. Hey, we worked so hard. We fell off last week and we came back and redeemed ourselves. Hey, this our rival. This the biggest one. It means a lot.
Tell me about the fumble recovery.
Hey, it's big. I just seen it. Had to get on it. We needed a momentum change in play, and we got one.
You think that was the difference? I mean, it looked like you lost it there at the beginning of the second half, but you turned it around.
Yeah, we turned it around. Big plays, hey, it's part of other big plays. So, hey, when we get one, it's great. Great for the team.
Big win, buddy. Thank you.
All smiles for the man in the hard hat right there, Kevin Sears from Russellville, Alabama. Now, Tommy Tuberville has been rolling in this game right here. Basically, as Auburn has taken control, especially in Tuscaloosa. They had a little bit of a scare, but he talked after the game, summing up just how big this win is in the history of this rivalry.
Super win for our program. We knew coming over here was going to be a dogfight. We knew that we was going to have to fight through a lot of things, and proud of our players. 70 of them stayed together, played as a team. We weren't fancy. You know, we lost Courtney Wednesday with a pulled ham. He tried to play, but he couldn't go. We lost our fullback, Mike McLaughlin, on Thursday. He tore a calf muscle, and we didn't have him in short yardage. We were shorthanded. We came into the game to run it, and we did. We didn't have a lot of style points, but you know, when you play defense and you cause turnovers and you're kicking games solid, then you got a chance. That's why we played all year long. We're not a great football team, and we were put on a pedestal early in the year. We fought hard. We kept our head above water. In 12 games, we stumbled twice. To win 10 games in this league is huge, any year. And I'm proud of our football players, how they hung with our coaches and understood what we needed to do and learn each week and just stay positive and knowing that we weren't going to score a lot of points, but we're going to play well enough possibly get a 1 or 2 point victory. Alabama played tough. They played hard. They're well coached. They schemed us a little bit. They tricked us early on the first drive and had us a little bit confused. I made a stupid call on the blitz right before half. We just took a chance and probably shouldn't have done that. But, you know, there are other times, you know, the offense played conservative. Al will tell you that. We played conservative. We had a couple of plays out of the backfield throwing to Carl Stewart that caught them in, you know, in a situation where they wouldn't want to be caught. But overall, you know, 70 guys coming over and playing their tails off in an environment like this and winning is big. And everybody's going to ask about 5 straight. We're excited about that. I'm more excited about winning 4 straight here. 4 straight on the road in your rival game is huge. And I'm proud of our seniors. This is the winningest senior class now in Auburn history with 40 wins. And I'm so proud of them, and they never lost to their in-state rival. And, they can stick their chest out for a long, long time. So it was a great game. Probably wasn't very pretty to watch, but it was one of those where a little excitement. We caused a few turnovers, but it just wasn't very pretty on offense. But again, we got the win. We're proud of it, and we'll take 10 and go to Thanksgiving and enjoy it and come back and see what bowl game we're going to be in.
Talk about. No questions whatsoever about it. If Auburn has owned this thing lately with Alabama, that's 5 in a row. That's one for the thumb. Alabama fans may want to cover that thumb and shake their fist a little bit in this one as they fall 22-15, a terrific effort for them. Last year, of course, they were pretty much out of it before they started. This year, they got out to a very solid start with a very good game plan in this one. Auburn responded. Alabama responded. It's easy to point to, the coach let them down or anything along those lines. It just seemed like both teams were able to reach down in this one, and Auburn pulls out the win 22-15 to keep themselves perfect in Tuscaloosa. That is just one block of our look here at the post-game report on the Iron Bowl. 22-15 is your final. We've got more coming up live from Tuscaloosa. And welcome back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 22-15 is your score. John Pearson along with Tom Woodard here. And first of all, Tom, you have a giant thumb growing out of your head. Let's do a Mary Tyler Moore moment. Everybody come forward just a little bit
up here
to see the thumb here.
Nice thumb.
He's walked away, and the thing is, every person that every woman, every guy meets can say, I was the guy with the thumb on my head, because we have no idea who he is. 22-15, and we can tell you the printers at Auburn are pretty quick too. They already have the signs up. 22-15 is your final score, the 5th in a row for the Auburn Tigers. That's one for the thumb right there. And Tom, you were out on the field with these guys, and they're all excited in different ways with the Auburn Tigers. You caught up with Kenny Irons. Give us a sense of what he said as we throw to his side.
Kenny Irons just said, it's great to get number 5. It was great to, be able to experience that with his brother. But one sad note, David Irons, after the game, was hit in the head with a bottle from one of the fans, and they are treating him as we speak. They don't know the extent of his injuries, but I got to see them together. They hugged, they embraced, and just, took in the entire moment tonight.
Yeah, the class of a game. Every one of the fans here just about is classy, and one person throws it out there, and then everybody is labeled as such.
And that's what Coach Tuberville says. You can't say the whole group of fans are like that. Just that one fan. He says we've got, a few fans like that in Auburn as well. It's just an unfortunate situation, but he's going to be okay. But it was a great moment for the brothers and a good way to go out in this Iron Bowl.
All right, let's hear from Tom's interview with Kenny Irons.
And coaches, they kind of gave let us rest a little more during the week also to get us prepared for this game, and we got our minds right mentally and physically. We were prepared to play this game.
That's the kind of year you wanted to have, but a great way.
Yeah, right. It's the great way to end the game. Coaches always ask us, how do you want to be remembered? And winning this Alabama game is a great memory for our fans, for the seniors on the team, for the coaching staff, and for everyone.
Was there something that they did that gave you a bigger opening, or something the offensive line did?
No, they haven't. They just play hard. Obviously, always play hard. They continue to play hard. And we just kept running the ball. Myself, Brad, and it's a blessing Dave got the interception. Congrats. Good job, Dion. Good job, baby.
How's it important that you and your brother get to finish it out like that?
It's great. It's lovely, man. It doesn't get any better. Being here with my brother, and him getting the last interception to end the game for us, and it takes a lot of stress off our back. If it had went to third down, what would have happened? But David got the interception, did a great job. My last regular season game here as an Auburn Tiger, and I love it. Yes, sir.
And it's one of those things, you can't do an interview with David Irons without him mentioning that Kenny's ugly. And you can't do an interview with Kenny without mentioning that David's goofy and weird. Right. And that's probably a sign of just how special their relationship is, because the more grief you give a brother, the more you love him. And now they share in that win one more time. 22-15.
We both have brothers, so we know how that is. You kick them when they're down, and then love them when things are good. So it was just great to see them bond together at the end of the game. And more stuff from the locker room. I just want to mention that Coach Tuberville and Brandon Cox, who we'll hopefully hear from a little later, they said ball control was the big thing for this contest. Getting the turnovers was huge, but Coach said ball control was the big thing, and it really was the difference today.
That's 2 years in a row with that, because Auburn got out to the great start last year, and in the second half they really didn't do much as well as getting in the end zone. But Kenny Irons ate up yard after yard last year, and then this year it was 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 minutes at a time between Alabama possessions. And in those Alabama possessions, John Parker Wilson showed that he is the leader for the future of this team. One mistake at the end, but John Parker Wilson, probably Alabama fans have to be feeling good about him. We hear from John Parker Wilson from postgame right now.
They're putting 2 guys on him. It's pretty simple. They had, 2 guys on him a lot of the time. Brackett covered him, and we had some other guys step up and make some plays though. Nikita had a pretty big day. I felt like he answered the call when his number was called. So, Auburn did a good job of that though.
Parker, almost fumbled, especially where we said you didn't do it confidently. Is that your mistake, or is that a breakdown in your protection?
I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what happened on him. So I have to, go back and look at the tape and see what really happened, because, I couldn't really get a chance to see it on the replay board either.
Do you feel this is the toughest loss for you so far in your career?
Do what?
Do you feel this is the toughest loss for you so far in your career?
Yeah, no doubt. To come out and lose this game is tough, especially when you have chances to win it there at the end.
Did you not see Irons?
Kind of, it's late in the game. We got to put a drive together, and just trying to make a play, just trying a little too hard to make a play right there at the end.
And John Parker Wilson, he'd made those plays, and the way they started this game, he's very smooth the way he moved the ball. And the nice thing about it, all year it's been DJ Hall 10 catches, Keith Brown 9 catches. They never worked out really well in the same game, but this time it's Nikita Stover with a huge game, Will Oakley with some nice catches, spread the ball, Travis McCall with a touchdown catch, his first of the year.
Right.
That's a sign for the future for Alabama.
Well, they weren't really sure about Keith Brown and how good he would be or how long he would go. So he probably, in the game plan this week, they probably said, hey, we need to spread the ball out, and they did that today. But on the other side, Brandon Cox really played well. Really, really did. And we heard from him afterwards after the game.
Yeah, I came out, before the game I was fired up. I was ready to play, and I think I came out and a little too fired up, and then just had to settle down. And at halftime, coaches talked to me and said, Coach Board said, settle down, just play your game, and that's what I did the second half.
Did your leg get hurt a little bit on that first?
I landed on it again, but it's something I've been playing with, so it really didn't affect me.
Talk about playing without Courtney and the job that
Yeah, they stepped up. Courtney tried to go, but he just couldn't. And then to see a guy like Rod step up and be the big guy, the go-to guy, and appreciate with that touchdown. I had a little slant and go, and I had some pressure. I just threw it up and gave him a chance, and he used his height and made a great play, and that was big for him, and hopefully that'll give him a little confidence for next year.
Did you feel the offense was hampered in any way without Courtney?
Courtney's our go-to guy, so it hurt the passing game a little bit, but the younger guys stepped up. The coaches wanted to run the ball a lot more with Courtney out, and I think we did a good job for the most part. First half passing game was off because of me. It didn't have anything to do with the receivers, but we got it together second half.
How hard is it? You got 8-10 guys staring into the box, and you want to pick off, but you're keeping it on the run. You guys just did what you wanted, basically.
Yeah, it's our game plan. Coaches know what they're doing, and they had a great game plan, and the game plan was just to run it at them, and like Coach was saying, we're a ball control offense, and we don't have many big plays, so we just take what we can get and move down the field.
Take one more for Brandon, then we'll do breakouts.
Talk about playing here.
This was what I dreamed of. Growing up playing here, playing in the Iron Bowl, and I got the chance, and it just made it that much more special to play against Alabama and to come out with a win 5 in a row. It's a dream come true. Yeah, definitely.
It is one of those signs that the coaches are usually a lot smarter than a lot of people. People went after a 4 for 12, 4 interception performance last week. And the way he started out, his footwork was awful the way he was. I mean, he didn't look like he knew what he was doing out there. And then Brandon Cox steadied the ship right there. Coach Tuberville said, we're sticking with this guy, and it panned out for him.
And it was he went in behind the 8 ball because Courtney Taylor did not play. They talked about Courtney Taylor a lot. Courtney Taylor slipped on a wet practice field earlier this week and pulled his hamstring. He tried to go, but they said he just couldn't go. So he went into the game. Of course, we didn't know it. Auburn went into the game without Courtney Taylor, and that was his major go-to guy. So he went in knowing he wouldn't have Courtney Taylor, and they still came out and played pretty good, throwing the ball around. Kenny Irons having a good game, and they came through with the win.
So if you're one of those people saying, oh, you got a good pull Brandon Cox, let's go to Blake Field, you might have been wrong right there, and you know who you are. That's just a look at things. We got a lot more coming up live in Tuscaloosa, 22-15, Auburn. We are still waiting for Mike Shula. Actually, you didn't miss a minute because it's been on our station all day long. We had 2.5 hours before the game. The entire game here, a great back-and-forth effort. And now our post-game coverage as we await Mike Shula's appearance. He's been waiting longer and longer to come out this year to respond, especially after losses this year. And, Tom, what does this mean for Alabama? One thing it does mean, if they lose their bowl game, it's a losing season.
Yeah, but I think the big thing here is, everybody's talking about Mike Shula and if he's going to, be the coach after this year. And a lot of people say, well, Mike Shula's going to stay, but he's going to have to make some changes on the offensive side of the ball, or offensive coaches, offensive line, running back, wide receivers, offensive coordinator, so that, they need to make some changes on offense to kind of kickstart some things. But I think Shula is safe, but I'm thinking this is such a big thing. We talked about emotion coming into the Iron Bowl and how big it is. So he's probably letting out emotion right now. We don't know really what that is, if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's crying, if it's, how he's getting his players through it too, because you know how emotional that locker room is. And speaking of coaches, we also have a lot more from Coach Tuberville because we talked to him right after the game. And here's more of Coach Tuberville's comments.
Yeah, we're a ball control team. I mean, we've made no bones about it all year long. We're not going to score a lot of points. It's not going to happen. We don't have big play guys. Our longest play from scrimmage was one of the first few plays of the Washington State game, and that seemed like 10 years ago. We're just not there. We were close tonight, breaking a few. They stacked the line of scrimmage. They put 9 there, and we still ran it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for an offensive line to be able to run 120-something yards when they got 8, 9 on the line of scrimmage, knowing that you're going to run it. But you have to convert third down conversions to win games like this. You have to do that, and you have to keep the time of possession. I don't know what it was. We're probably pretty close, but again, it was a game plan. Pretty much it went to work to perfection for us on the road and not taking a lot of chances.
What was the atmosphere on the sideline when Alabama scored on the first possession, third quarter?
Well, that's the great thing about this group. Nobody ever panics, and they ran a couple of things, and they made a couple of third down conversions, and you look back at last week, and they scored on their first possession. And the first possession usually is the hardest to stop the offense. And I wanted to take the ball first, and we took it and got a good kick return, got a penalty, and made a couple of first downs, and then punted. And we tried to change it up a little bit, but our game plan today, we played base defense, we played zone coverage, we played very little man coverage. We were going to force them to make the plays, and we just didn't think they could do it. We just didn't think they could drive the length of the field and score. And sometimes you look around at each other when they do it the first drive, going, "Are we doing the right thing?" But Will stayed with it, and again forced them to turn the ball over. We had some cover.
And Tommy Tuberville has a lot to talk about, a lot to be excited about. And basically what's coming up right now, we'll find out. Mike Shula will be heading to the post-game press conference. Here he is. Let's join Mike Shula live here in Tuscaloosa.
Okay. Sorry I was a little bit late, just talking to our seniors, spent a little more time talking to our football team about how tough this one is to swallow and how tough it'll be. Our guys, the way we played today with the turnovers and gave up couple plays that wasn't good enough. And I talked to our seniors about I know how tough that is for those guys. I wanted to make sure that pointed out to the rest of our football team about our seniors. They came in at a time when a lot of people probably didn't want to be at Alabama. Maybe could have had some easy choices to go somewhere else, but they came here because they love this university. And they probably knew there was going to be some tough times, and they worked their tails off. And wanted to make sure the underclassmen understood that they should, appreciate them for that and what they've given to this football team. I just talked to basically our team about, what we've got. We got to do things to get better. We're going to evaluate everything with what we're doing, with offense, with defense, with our recruiting, all that kind of stuff. This wasn't the script we had for this season. This wasn't the script we had for our seniors, and it's going to be tough to get through. But what we've got to do is got to get through it together, and we've got to make sure we're doing everything we can possibly do as coaches and as players to get better. And who knows what our season would have been like if we do a couple things in the Arkansas game, if we do a couple things with the lead against Florida in the fourth quarter, if we do a couple things with the lead against Tennessee in the fourth quarter. But it didn't happen that way. So, and that's why we got to be, there's a lot of accountability. And I told them, as always, it starts with the head coach, and it starts, and then and then the assistant coaches, and then the players. And we all know that we play with a lot of new starters this year and a lot of young starters, and we're not quite there yet, experience-wise. You'd like to get this football team where you're playing with a bunch of redshirt seniors and redshirt juniors, and then these young guys are coming in and filling in and spot playing. And but when you play with a bunch of sophomores, that makes it a little bit more difficult. So with that, just wanted to make sure that all those guys knew it's going to be tough. This will be tough. It's tough now, and we'll get tough, but got to get through it together.
What is the evaluation process going to be like for the coaching staff?
I don't know. I'll be, the questions that you have about, the evaluation process, or, I hadn't even thought about any of that stuff, but I just do know that all that stuff's going to happen,
Mike, the decision-making process during the game, plays seemed to get in really slow. Decisions, whether to kick or not, took up a lot of time, used some timeouts. Is that just communication? Where's that falling apart?
You talking about the one there at the end?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Well, that was, whether or not to go for it. That was, tough call. You're down by whatever it was, 5 minutes, down by 7, but with how many minutes? And
all right, we have to wrap things up here from Tuscaloosa. 22-15 is your final score. They got the one for the thumb to the Auburn Tigers in this one. For Tom Woodard, I'm John Pearson. Thanks for joining us all day on the Iron Bowl special right here on your Iron Bowl station, News Channel 19.